on the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, as always, we'll have a full recap for you from the weekend. It's funny because I love the people that say, yeah, I'm not going to watch the NFL. Haven't watched it in 5 years. That type of thing. But then, out on their feed,
it's so funny because we end up with the same thing. And it's kind of a mess, to be honest with you. But we, of course,
we'll take your calls on the NFL from the weekend. And we'll get into a couple of things that have happened on the transfer portal. We'll start with Clemson. Dabo Swinney caught a lot of grief for not hitting the transfer portal. Well, apparently he's hit the transfer portal, as Hunter Johnson is going to go back to the Clemson program. And I'll tell you what, it's interesting that Dabo Swinney ends up
getting back there with the stuff that, hey, he left the program. So there's that. Interesting stuff there from the Clemson program as they go out and get a former 5-star quarterback. Now, Dabo Swinney didn't go far. It's not like he went and found someone else. Basically, what happened, according to Steve Wilfong, is that Hunter Johnson actually called and asked if they had any graduate assistants open spots at Clemson. And they asked if he had any more eligibility. So with that means that Hunter Johnson is essentially the Clemson version of Zeb Noland. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's essentially the same thing. So Clemson fans giving South Carolina fans grief about the whole Zeb Noland graduate transfer thing. You got to kind of put your hat in your hand right now and say, you know what? Maybe that wasn't exactly what I should be saying now. After that's pretty much what Clemson did. He's going to back up a group that includes incumbent starter DJ Uiagalelei, 5-star incoming freshman Cabe Klubnik, and walk-on Hunter Helms. So, with that, Clemson has hit the transfer portal. I just laugh because the Clemson fan base in my social media feed, they were hot on, they've got to get a graduate assistant to play quarterback at South Carolina. And now they're looking for a guy to come to them that was a former Clemson player, but is now wants to be a graduate assistant, but is going to go out onto the field. He may not play much. Let's leave it at that. But he will be on the Clemson roster come this season. The Georgia Bulldogs, apparently JT Daniels is expected to enter transfer portal, but plans to get his degree from the school this spring and leave as a graduate, according to a report today. Daniels, who recently met with Kirby Smart regarding his future with the Bulldogs, originally signed with Georgia in 2020 as a coveted transfer out of Southern Cal, was immediately eligible, throwing for 1,231 yards and 10 touchdowns after serving as the primary backup to Stetson Bennett. So Daniels is looking at the writing on the wall and saying, you know what, there's probably going to be a good chance that I'm not going to be there either. And he is moving on. Remember the whole thing with at the beginning of the season, and Georgia fans that are in our group here on the Facebook, on the Facebook feed, the YouTube feed, they've been adamant, calling JT Daniels the guy that could walk on water. JT Daniels sat on the bench and watched Stetson Bennett bring home a national championship. Now he's going to go somewhere else and possibly get into the mix to be a starter somewhere else. It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. The thing that may hinder him a little bit is that he is a guy that he says he wants to graduate and then get his degree and then go somewhere else, which means he's got to stay at Georgia through the spring. So he's not going to be anywhere for spring practice. So there's that. What a mess that's turned into. And it goes to show you that regardless of how well things look, sometimes they're not as good as they look. I know that sounds kind of silly, but in the end, that is
what we're dealing with there. So with that, we've also got another headline here from Georgia that came out today. Defensive back Latavius Brini is one of 3 players heading to the transfer portal, along with reserve tight end Chase Harriff and defensive lineman Tyler Malachias. All 3 of those guys probably not going to play anyway. So they were probably going to end up somewhere else. It's not that they're bad players. They're just going to end up somewhere else. So there's that. All right, we're taking your calls today at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. I do have one more recruiting story that I have to bring to you. And this comes from the land of Mizzou. Now, I know a lot of people don't, the only thing I normally hear is Mizzou doesn't belong in the SEC and yada, yada, yada. Eli Drinkowitz is making a recruiting markup there. Apparently, Eli Drinkowitz got into a dump truck that is owned by a Mizzou booster. I say a Mizzou booster, a Mizzou alumni. And this guy got into a dump truck with this guy, and they went out to a high school to recruit 4-star offensive lineman Caden Green, who is known as Big Rig. That's his nickname, supposedly. But Drinkowitz, just to make an entrance, hey, let me show up in a dump truck. These are the kind of things you have to do when you are at a program where, let's be honest, Mizzou is an SEC program, but they're looked at as on this, they're not looked at on the level of Georgia and Alabama, etc. So he's trying to bring some interest and some clout to his program. And I don't really have a problem with it. I think other people have a problem with it. And they're going to look at it as, oh, well, how is he doing this and that? He's being creative. So, yeah. Now, we've heard about other stories of other coaches that have done things. Remember Jim Harbaugh, like having a sleepover? People remember that, right? Little things like that. Yeah. All of that there in the mix. But Eli Drinkowitz does not a hell with all that. I'm going to get me a dump truck, and I'm going to show up to recruit in a dump truck. Okay. Good for you, sir. Good for you. 803-978-1832. We are taking calls today on Hunter Johnson, returning to the Clemson program. Wanted to be a grad assistant. They asked if he had any more eligibility left, and now he's going to be a quarterback. Gamecock fans, this is your chance to rant, calling him the Clemson version of Zeb Nolan. I can see that. Also, we could talk about what Eli Drinkowitz did. We could talk about where's JT Daniels going to end up. That's definitely in the mix. And if you want to get into some of the stuff we got to see over the weekend, last night, Ben Roethlisberger doing his thing with Pittsburgh where, hey, it's his last game and all that. To hear Al Michaels and those guys talking about, all the great things that Roethlisberger did, I'm still hung up on the fact that Roethlisberger was an alleged rapist, and no one really brought that up. It's kind of the thing that'll normally haunt you for the rest of your life. All right, let's go out to the phones. 803-978-1832. And welcome into the rundown.
Hey, Rob, it's Megan. What's going on,
Buddy? How are you?
Hey, listen, on the Hunter Johnson issue, he may be more of a symptom than the actual virus. Do you see this as maybe just another sign of some of Dabo's stubbornness coming home to roost when it comes to transfer portal stuff like that?
I normally don't like to agree with you, but I think you're right, because Sweeney can still have the whole thing of, look, I went to the transfer portal, but it's one of your guys. It's one of your guys you didn't want to leave anyway. So it's kind of like, it's not like he's looking at any other quarterbacks that are out there. And Clemson could use another quarterback just for depth. And no, he's not going to do that. It's a guy that's already, has the Clemson stamp on him. And I think you're completely right. It just makes Dabo look stubborn once again.
Say that again.
I said it makes Dabo look stubborn. Have you gotten stupid since the national championship game and can't hear?
No, the part about me being completely right. I like to.
I said you were right, man. You sound like you sound like other people that think that I have to over and over tell you that you're absolutely right. I mean, you're like the girlfriend that has to be told every day she's the hottest girl on the planet. That's about where you are.
It's a lack of self-esteem, Rob.
Well, we got to work on that, sir. You are a bright and intelligent man. I mean, it's not like you were saying dumb things like Georgia had no chance to win the national title and Stetson Bennett was a dwarf out there throwing the football and Kirby Smart's an idiot. You never said these things. You're a bright man, sir. You walk around with your head held high. You stick your chest out a little bit with that big Georgia G on it. Be proud of yourself, sir.
That little rant you just went on, that's proof. Prime example, every time I think you're turning a corner, you go on one of those rants and it proves that you're still a steaming, lumpy, smelly pile of football ignorance when it gets right down to it.
I'll go with lumpy, but I don't smell like anything. I bathe a lot.
Okay. Well, hey, seriously, on the JT Daniels issue, I know you said that Georgia fans said he could walk on water. You do have to give me credit that I was not one of those the entire season.
I do give you credit for that, because actually you said at the beginning of the season that you agreed with me in that he had issues with touch on the deep ball. And that's just from watching tape. I mean, you can just see it.
You're getting good at finding things quickly over there on that bookshelf of accountability. That kind of scares me a little bit, how rapid you've gotten at finding those things.
Well, I do read a lot, but no, I mean, I think that there's a section of people that want Stetson Bennett to come back, and now they're kind of in a quandary, because if Bennett decides, hey, I'm gonna leave, or I'm gonna go into the or whatever, Stetson Bennett's not on the field next year. Who's going to be the Georgia quarterback? I mean, I know it's easy to say Gunnar Stockton or one of the other guys that was out there, but wow, I mean, Stetson Bennett won a national title and brings a solidness to him that you would absolutely love to have next season.
Yeah, but even you would have to agree. Look, we had a generational defense. That's what won that national title. Stetson Bennett was average at best, and we had enough around him to overcome his shortcomings. Is that a fair assessment?
Is it safe to say he's like the Trent Dilfer of college football?
He is very Trent Dilfer-ish.
There we go.
It's definitely safe to say that. And I almost think that, and I'm not wishing him to leave. The guy has earned the right to stay, but I almost think that for the health of that program, it may be best if he just goes on.
I don't spend enough time behind the scenes there. He may be a guy that leads the locker room. I don't know. I do think that you could see the pride in his eyes when he won, and the guy's in tears on the sideline. But, I mean, you can't, the guy's obviously a Bulldog for life. They'll have a statue for him somewhere. He'll never pay for another drink in Athens, I'm sure. But
no.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it's time to move on and build for the future.
Yeah, I think that might be best. Not that I'm wishing him to leave, and like I said, he's earned the right. I'm not a Stetson hater. I told you all year he was going to win it, so you remember that.
Sure. Absolutely.
But no, it's bottom line. 2021 championship goes home to the SEC easy. 43-18. Rob,
have a great day, sir. There you go. Look, Beggin Megan is a guy that listens to the program, and eventually he's going to gain some confidence. I am his Tony Robbins, by the way. I'm the one that builds up this confidence in him, because before he started listening to this show, he was thinking, my Georgia team, we're just flat. I mean, we're just flat, and we've got all these injuries and everything else. Now, look, he listens to this show, Georgia wins the national title. Walk with your head held high, sir. Stick that G out there for people to see it. Blake says the health of the team. Come on, Megan. If it wasn't for Stetson, Georgia would have the worst GPA in NCAA. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we can talk into that too. Brock says Stockton won't start. He has too much potential to start at Georgia. Rob says Stetson coming back for his PhD at this point. Kid's closer to 30 than 20. Good point. Good point. All right, so we have to talk about not necessarily the Dallas game yesterday, but some of the stuff that was said afterwards. Dak Prescott is a great quarterback, but he had an idiot moment. We'll talk about that and a lot more when we come back. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Look at that. Brock agrees with me. Brock agrees with me. Hold on. Brock and I normally, we agree on some things, but we definitely agree on that. There you go. Georgia fans have to be constantly told how great they are. Very good, sir. Brent says they don't have a quarterback anymore. Fair enough. Rob says, that's funny. Using the portal is like a blind man holding a newspaper. Pointless and ineffective. Very good, sir. You know, how many carries did Elliott have yesterday? I got to pull that up. Who do you guys like tonight? I don't even, Brent, I feel bad for you, man. Feel bad for you on that front. Hold on, I'm trying to find the stats and see. Ooh, I didn't know it was this bad. Elliott had 12 carries for 31 yards. Maybe it's time to step away from Ezekiel Elliott. Oof. Wow, that's bad. Prescott threw the ball 43 times. My goodness. My problem with Prescott, and I'll tell you what it is in a moment. Yeah, we talked about that, Kobe. I wonder where he's going to end up. I wonder if Eli Drinkowitz is going to pull the dump truck up down there and get him picked up. By the way, I'm wearing my limited edition Clemson Sports Talk hat. There are probably like 5 of these in existence. Lawton Swan gave me one of them. Ta-da! Actually, he probably had more than that. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Out to the phones we go. Welcome into the program.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Well, I'm a Georgia fan, and this is my first time calling in since we won our national championship.
Congratulations to your national championship Bulldogs, sir.
Yep. 1980, no more. Finally,
right. That's right. No more Rubik's Cube references. No more nonsense of me playing Blondie. Although now I kind of miss playing Blondie. But hey, since then, and in honor of the Georgia Bulldogs, this is now on my sound wall here. I put it in place of Blondie. We go with this.
4th and 12 at the Georgia 47. The final second ticks away. And how of an appropriate ending is that? We sack Young on the last play of the game. Dogs are winners. A national championship for a new generation of Bulldogs. How about that? Final score, 33-18. The slipper changes feet, and Georgia is crowned the national champion for the first time in 41 years.
There you go. I replaced Blondie with that. So there you go, man.
Oh, well, thank you. But I was going to ask, how much do you think Clemson will bounce back next year? Because they obviously had a disappointing season this year. So I'm wondering about that.
I'm not the Clemson spin machine, but the Clemson won 10 games last year. Clemson's their coordinators are all gone. The majority of that defense is coming back. You would like to think that over the weekend, Xavier Thomas says he's coming back. Brian Brzee, all those guys. The Clemson defensive line is going to be one of the best in the country. The question is can they get some offense? And I don't know how that's going to work out. Is it going to be the Will Shipley show next season? We'll see. We'll see on that. I don't know for sure.
It doesn't have to be that. You guys got 5-star Cade Fluke, a quarterback freshman.
Yeah, but he's never stepped foot on a college field. He could go out there and be a 5-star guy, but once he gets there and he's playing against guys that are of equal talent, he may not be as good. I'm serious. That sounds silly, but you can be a 5-star and suck. That happens.
I know, but Clemson's in a situation now where they have a quarterback problem. I mean, we've seen a lot of great freshman quarterbacks over the past 5 years, 10 years. I mean, you look at C.J. Stroud, and all that. So I think that's their best option because DJ's not been good for Clemson.
We'll find out the fate of Uiagalelei because I think that Dabo Swinney's made the move before, and if he thinks someone's better than you are, then he's going to put you out on the field. He's in the business of winning football games. Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah, I mean, freshman quarterbacks, I think that's the best option for them at least.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you calling the program. Thank you very much.
All right, see ya. Go Dogs.
There you go, buddy. There you go. Appreciate you calling the show. All right, so 803-978-1832. Yesterday was a controversial ending to the Dallas Cowboys playoff game, and I have to admit the Cowboys fans they're special, man. That's the only thing I can come up with. So Dallas has a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. They ended up coming down to a point where they couldn't get the ball. Dak Prescott made a play where he ran up the field when maybe he should have thrown a pass. That's debatable. We could talk about that. But here's the thing. They didn't get the ball down in time for a spike, and they run out of time. So they lose to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, here's the thing on that. That's a playoff game. I know it's a big deal. It ends their season. But Dak Prescott said after the game, and I'm reading to you an exact quote, when they asked him at the end of the game, they talked about Dallas Cowboys fans throwing trash at the refs after they lost the game. Dak Prescott said, quote, credit to them. So basically what Prescott is saying is if you don't like the officials, you can throw things at them, and that's okay. I mean, that's just basically credit to them. There should be a fine for that. I don't know what it is. Prescott's making so much money, it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, the idea of fines shouldn't be there for players. If you're going to be fined, it should be, a substantial amount plus community service. And what I mean by community service is that it's not, hey, I'm going to go stop at a school. It's, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to paint buildings. I'm going to do something where you're out there and you have to actually sweat a little bit. So you can think about the stupidity that you did. Dak Prescott is a guy that has a hell of a lot of talent. Not taking that away from him. He had his leg turned into a question mark and still managed to rehab from that and assume the job of the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. And what ends up happening? A game doesn't go his way, and he wants to give credit to fans for throwing trash at him, at the refs. Utterly disgusting and not what you want. Absolutely not what you want. James says he must watch Tennessee fans. We've had a lot of that this year. Tennessee fans throwing mustard bottles. I'm not just picking at Tennessee because it happens everywhere. But we've gotten to a point now where no one's just like, all right, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. Guess what? You throwing trash at the refs as they leave the field, do you think that's going to change the outcome of the game? No. The owners have a way that they can get with and reprimand these officials if they make a horrible call. And I know it costs you your season, but you know what? Here's a thought. How about not letting San Francisco go up, 17-0 or whatever the score was yesterday? How about doing that? How about not letting Deebo Samuel run all over you like you're stupid? Let's try that. Other than, hey, we're going to throw trash at the refs because we decided not to play until midway through the second quarter on the offensive side of the ball. So we'll just throw trash like a bunch of idiots. And that's not all Cowboys fans, but those Cowboy fans that were doing that, I hope that they figure out who they were because they're in that state-of-the-art stadium. I'm sure they've got HD cameras everywhere. You should have your tickets revoked and you can never go back to a game. That's how you cleanse the world of this stupidity. Throwing things at stadiums is not good. And shame on them for that. And shame on the folks from Dallas, or the quarterback from Dallas, Prescott, for saying, quote, credit to them. No, sir. Here's something that you get credit for, being an absolute buffoon. You're an absolute idiot. You don't deserve to wear that star with the pride that some of the people that wore it before you that actually did what they were supposed to do. You should actually do a lot to apologize for that and fix it. I don't care how talented of a quarterback you are. That was just dumb. You're basically feeding the next batch of idiots that's going to say, you know what? If a call doesn't go our way, why don't we just throw stuff? We'll get credit from Dak. Disgusting. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. That's Blake. That's funny. Stockton may not see the field. I don't know. What am I missing here? Yeah, I did mention that there, Brandon. Thank you for that. Brent wants to know where I'm from. Man, I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. Then we moved all over the place. I was in the Coast Guard, moved all over the place with that too. I've lived pretty much everywhere. I worked on the Gulf Coast for a while with a Coast Guard TAC unit, lived out of a suitcase. Not a bad existence when you're 21. You think Stockton's going to transfer? Okay. Brandon, you haven't moved very far, sir. I'm very proud to be a South Carolinian, sir. Absolutely proud of it. It's one of the reasons that I'm here and I haven't taken a radio job somewhere else. I love it here. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. One of the few shows that is actually on the air today. Today is Dr. King Day here, but we're still doing a show to recap some of the things we got into. Dak Prescott is our idiot of the month. He shares that along with the Dallas Cowboy fans that were throwing things at the field. We did have other football from over the weekend. I tell you, there were some teams that looked good. Joe Burrow's a beast up in Cincinnati. I mean, he managed to will Cincinnati to a playoff win. They had like a 30-year drought, and he willed them to a win. So there's that. Also, Buffalo looked really good too. So one time that I went to, I watched a game, and you see Bill Belichick on the sidelines, and he looked like he did not want to be there. So there's that. Then, of course, you had the matchup with San Francisco yesterday. Kind of, hey, that was not what you expected, but that's how it ended up working. Oh, by the way, Levon Kirkland actually called it when he was on the air with us on Friday. He thought that San Francisco was going to win. So there's that. So our matchups for next weekend, Tampa Bay beat up on the Eagles. They will play the winner of tonight's game between the Rams and the Cardinals. Then the 49ers are going to Green Bay as the 6th seed. They will be playing the Packers in what I think is a tough matchup for both teams. The Chiefs will welcome in the Bills next weekend. And the Bengals are going to go on the road to play at the Titans. I think that's how it works. So there you go with that. A little playoff football for next weekend. Schultz 31 calls them typical Dallas fans. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to put all of that on them, but there have been fans throwing stuff for a while now, and it's just one of those things that it just bothers me. There's people on the field that are working and doing their job. And even if you're trying to hit the ref, which you shouldn't be doing anyway, there's police out there. That's silly. Don't throw things on the field. Don't do that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Rob says either the Rams, Packers, or Tampa are winning the whole shebang. No reason to watch other than the passing time. Yeah, I agree with Steve after that. The Titans are tough. That is a tough football team, man. They are really, really tough. So to sit here and say that they don't have a shot, they're number 1 seed for a reason. DJ says he hates Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is just different. And I try to take my bias out of it because I'm a Green Bay fan and a Green Bay apologist, but Rodgers is just different. I don't know any other way to describe it, just completely different. But those are our NFL matchups heading into next weekend. I do have to say this. My Twitter feed and my Facebook feed were live last night with several mentions of people hating the Cowboys. I wonder why people hate Dallas so much, even though I'm one of the ones that's like, okay, I don't really like them either. But when you step back, they're a team just like everybody else. Is it Jerry Jones, or is it the fact that their fans think every year they're going to win everything? I'm serious. I don't know. I don't really get it. I think for me, it's the Dallas Cowboy fans telling me every year, oh, this is our year. This is our year. Brent is talking about, hey, you're a Phoenix Suns fan. Yep, I am a Phoenix Suns fan. I'm a Phoenix Suns fan and a Green Bay Packers fan, but grew up here. I can't explain my fandom to you. I just can't. Theoretically, if it was all about geography, I'd be a Falcons fan. Like my buddy Tyler Crowder, who's going to join the program here eventually. Or I'd be a Falcons fan or a Panthers fan. Ugh. Not really feeling that. Rob says it's the fans. Schultz says it's both. I think there's a level of arrogance that comes with Jerry Jones, where it's like, you know what? do you really know anything about football, sir? You know, that's kind of where I'm at with him. I think that a lot of times with the Cowboys fans too, they literally every year, this is our year, we're going to do it. This year, though, they had a good offense. It really did. I think they need to make some changes. Blake mentioned this earlier during the program that Ezekiel Elliott, I seen someone in the grocery store, was it Saturday? Or no, it was yesterday, with a hoodie on that said "Feed Zeke." Yeah, Zeke got 12 carries for like 27 yards, 30 yards, whatever. 12 carries. Do you know how terrible that is? Now, I will have to give San Francisco some credit because San Francisco is a really good defensive team. And my Packers friends that think that they're going to roll over San Francisco, you need to check up. Because I tell you what, San Francisco could go into Lambeau and win. I think they're the only team in the NFC that can do it. I know some fans of the Buccaneers will tell you, oh, well, Tom Brady's down here. Yeah, Tom Brady's down there, but he's playing with half a team. A lot of his receivers are gone. Is Leonard Fournette going to be back? What a mess. Rob says the Packers got a tough game for sure. And Jordan, he talks about Dabo pulls another epic troll on his critics. Yeah, because now you're right. People can look at Dabo and say, when are you going to use the transfer portal? And he can be like, I did. Yeah, but you used it on one of your guys. The hell is that? Katusa Online says Jerry Jones is 79 and worth $11 billion. Okay. I guess when you're worth $11 billion, you can call yourself a general manager. And he's put together a good team on offense. I don't know about the defensive side of the ball. Or maybe San Francisco is just a better team. Heaven forbid that happens. Heaven forbid that happens. But I think in the next couple of days, we're going to have some headlines where Dak Prescott is going to get fined. And I don't think he cares. His contract, he's one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. He's probably spent more money on dinner than they're going to fine him. But he should carry that badge of shame with him the rest of his career. He should at least apologize. Because that's just the way that it is. Shout out to my buddy Dennis Wilson. He says 49ers by 50. Dennis is upset. He's got a little Cowboys chapped ass. That's what it is. His Cowboys have been getting just beat up for so long that now he's just rooting against my Packers. He's still upset when they had that no reception. What was it, a couple years ago? Where the guy obviously didn't have a catch, was ruled that it wasn't a catch. He's still upset by that. God bless you, Dennis. God bless you, sir. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Take a quick break. Final segment of the show. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. Archie transfers. That's funny. No, hold on, Dennis. Hold on. We have to correct Dennis here. Bryant, no, Dennis must be driving. Bryant made the touchdown catch. Sir, did the replay officials give him the play? No. Did the officials out there give them the, was it called a catch? No. He didn't make the catch, sir. No touchdown. No touchdown. Sorry about that. Not really all over them. I'm picking at Dennis because that's his team. He came in here starting it, though, 49ers by 50. Come on, Dennis. Do better. Do better. Holy crap. I agree with Cloud. You know what? And you should be upset with Prescott for that, too. Adams, I think Adams and Rodgers are playing their final season in Green Bay, and I think they're going to play their butts off. Green Bay running game should be really good too, as Aaron Jones is playing. But you've also got A.J. Dillon. They have a heck of a 1-2 punch at running back. I really like the Titans too, but I think they get past San Francisco this weekend as far as Green Bay goes, and then it's going to be whoof. It's nonstop setup there for the Super Bowl. Man, the game's on Saturday night. Ugh. Henry's coming back. Green Bay's a 5.5-point favorite. I just seen the line on that. 5.5 points. Green Bay's the favorite in that game. Titans are a 3.5-point favorite over the Bengals. Chiefs are a 2.5-point favorite over the Bills. Josh Allen is a man. I almost dropped an F-bomb there. That's tough. Josh Allen's a man, though. He doesn't care. He'll go run out there and dip his shoulder and fight. He doesn't care. He shouldn't have given credit to the people throwing trash either there, Blake. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today. Some good conversation over in the chat room. I'm going to read some of these. Brandon says, Clemson finished number 100 in total offense. South Carolina finished 111th. Yes, sir. That is correct. Steve says Clemson has no offensive line. Steve is absolutely right. Clemson had issues on the offensive line this year. And that's not something you can fix immediately. If you're going to fix it immediately, maybe a change in the offensive line coach would be in order. And that's kind of what happened with Coach Caldwell retired and Thomas Austin taking over. Let's take a quick phone call. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, wow, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, wow, I got a quick question to ask you, my buddy.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, wow, I know the 49ers beat Dallas Cowboys the other day, but I don't know I'm not sure to go win at Green Bay. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'll give that to you in just a moment. Thank you for calling the program. I appreciate it.
All right, Rick. Have a good day, brother.
All right, there you go. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you listening to the show. I'm a Green Bay apologist. I'm picking the Packers to win, but I think the 49ers can go up there and win. So there you go. I'm like a politician on that front. No, I think Green Bay is going to win. Is going to gut it out. Man, San Francisco plays hard, though. My goodness, they are a hard-playing team. And if you're the number one seed, that's a heck of a thing to get in the first round of the playoffs. In the divisional round, is you're going to get the team that physically is one of the more intimidating teams in football. They want to just slap you around a little bit. Katusa says losing Venables will haunt Clemson. Yeah. I mean, the guy went on to be the head coach at Oklahoma. It's not like he's somebody that never really proved themselves on the sideline. So, yeah, I agree with you on that. I do think that Coach Sweeney needs to be given some space here to figure out, hey, you got to remember this too. Sweeney hired him. There's that. He was kind of run out of Oklahoma, which is kind of funny to see those same people that ran him out of Oklahoma all happy that he's back when Lincoln Riley left them for Southern California. They're all throwing a party. Hey, welcome back. Scratching out the go away Venables. They just put welcome on top of it. So, yeah, there's that. 803-978-1832. Carolina Titan says Brent Venables took that team from the Upstate's last win against my Gamecocks. Screenshot this. I don't know what that means, but okay. Brandon says, what is your thoughts on Clayton White? I like Coach White. He was highly thought of with what he did at, Western Kentucky. I think that when you run the defense that he runs, the 4-2-5, I think it's called. I think that gives you an opportunity to put more athletes on the back end of your defense and not put as much pressure on your linebackers, in my opinion, which has been an area that even Coach Eric Wilson, former Gamecock assistant, said that they've had issues at getting linebackers. And they didn't really, in his words were, quote, they've got one linebacker that's SEC caliber. On a 4-2-5, you could put more defensive backs on the field. So, yeah. So there's that. Aaron likes Venables. And he says he'll do well at Oklahoma. I think so. I think that they're completely changing, though, from, it's a different philosophy. So we'll see. Blake says Oklahoma will enter the SEC with Venables having 0 SEC league play experience. I wonder when they're actually going to be in the league. We got to figure that out. Just saying. B-Bean, so is Dabo a transfer portal guy now or not? Yeah, he got a guy to transfer back to the program. I haven't seen that. Have we seen where a guy entered? Well, I guess Stetson Bennett did it because he went from Georgia to the junior college to back to Georgia. It's kind of what, we'll see. Steve says you can run against the 4-2-5. You can, but it's kind of a bend but don't break defense. The idea is to keep you inside the, let you pretty much run up and down the field from 20 to 20. That's kind of the way it works. Make some plays and have your teams kicking field goals is kind of the gist behind it, in my opinion. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. I mentioned the story with Eli Drinkowitz using a dump truck. Hey, let's get in a dump truck and go and try to get the kid whose nickname is Big Rig. That guy will do anything to get attention for Mizzou. I'm not a Mizzou fan, but hey, you have to like that. You have to like that. Blake says Jackie Sherrill won the Western Division in 98 with a majority of Mississippi JUCOs. Yeah, because what was it? They've got a lot of good junior college football in Mississippi. So, yeah, there's that too. DJ says big running backs will prosper against 4-2-5 defenses. Momentum is on their sides. Yeah, but once again, a lot of it comes down to when you have those 5 defensive backs. From what I've read, it's kind of hard to game plan when you're inside the 20 just because of space. It's kind of how it works. Blake also says he's a fan of the JUCO route. I think that if you can find some good JUCO players, yeah. Was it Jasper and Casper Brinkley? Both, if I remember both correctly, they transferred in from junior college. And yeah, you can get some guys to plug some holes. But now with the transfer portal, you may not have that you may not need to. You could theoretically go and get, we can use Georgia as an example. They went and plucked a guy off of a team that played in the CFP last year, and he started on their defense this year. And ended up being part of the backbone that for that Georgia secondary. So there's that. Brandon wants me to go to the spring game under the lights. If they're having the spring game under the lights, that's interesting. Got to check on that. Might be, I don't know if I want to go and freeze to death. That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't want to, like, I was out, we got a little bit of like freezing rain and stuff here. And it froze one of the, I got a big pine tree in my backyard and it froze a limb. It fell on my fence. I had to go out in the rain or not the rain, the wind this morning with the chainsaw and cut that piece of stuff off my fence and then mend my fence this morning. So I'm in the camp of I don't like being cold. I am a big wuss when it comes to that. I think it's because when I was in the Coast Guard, I was cold all the time. So yeah, he says Brandon says I'm not going to freeze, and it's going to be cold at night. Don't care. I might go. I mean, I'll probably go to the South Carolina spring game. We'll see. All right, so don't forget, later on this week, appreciate you folks messaging me about Levon Kirkland coming in. He's going to join us on Friday as we break down the playoffs. Yeah, all of that coming back with us. And he by the way, he picked every game correctly going into tonight. So yeah, we'll see how he does this week. He joins us on Friday. All right, thanks for joining us on the program. We'll see you tomorrow. This is The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right, you guys are awesome. Appreciate y'all. You're right, James. Take a weapon. Might need a weapon down there. All right, guys, we'll see you later on. Thank you so much.